what's up, everybody? Today's list is the 20 greatest authors of all time. Now, this is not a list of my favorite authors of all time. I tried to make a list which was impartial as possible, and the result was a list where there were some authors that I have not even read. I did this by cross-referencing multiple criteria which would get an author onto this list. This criteria included critical acclaims, other people and authors that be influenced, Pulitzer Prizes, Nobel Prizes in Literature, National Book Awards, and book sales. So using this criteria, I was able to narrow down the field and get the amount of authors I was dealing with to about 50 or so. From there, I started to research the individual authors, and as more stuff came to light, I was able to figure out where these should be placed within the list. So the list includes the top 20 authors of all time and includes 5 honorable mentions at the beginning of authors that almost made it onto the list. I hope you guys enjoy. So without further ado, here is the top 20 authors of all time.
Honorable mention number 5. Virginia Woolf. Virginia Woolf is best known for her novel To the Lighthouse. Honorable mention number 4. Alexander Solzhenitsyn, most famous for his novel The Gulag Archipelagos, which he later won a Nobel Peace Prize for. Honorable mention number 3. F. Scott Fitzgerald, most famous for his novel The Great Gatsby, which was later adapted to the film. Honorable mention number 2. Henry James, most famous for his novel Portrait of a Lady, and his famous ghost story The Turn of the Screw. Honorable mention number 1. James Joyce. The Irish poet and writer is most famous for his novel Ulysses and Dubliners. On to the real list, starting with number 20. Colson Whitehead. Colson Whitehead is the only author that is still alive today that made it onto this list. His Pulitzer Prize-winning book, The Underground Railroad, and also The Nickel Boys, make him one of 4 authors in history to win the Pulitzer Prize twice. Number 19. Philip Roth. Roth is a famous American writer that won a Pulitzer Prize for his novel American Pastoral. Roth has written over 30 books and has won over 9 awards collectively. Number 18. John Updike. Updike is famous for being one of 4 writers in history to win the Pulitzer Prize more than once for his novels Rabbit at Rest and Rabbit is Rich. He also has over 25 awards and was also an award-winning literary critic. Number 17. Harper Lee. Her most famous novel, To Kill a Mockingbird, won a Pulitzer Prize and sold over 30 million copies and inspired an award-winning film. Harper Lee only wrote 2 books, but they are still taught today in most schools. Number 16. Lewis Carroll. Lewis Carroll was the English author who wrote Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, which later inspired the Disney movie Alice in Wonderland. His books have sold over 100 million copies. Number 15. Mark Twain. Mark Twain's novel The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer have been deemed the great American novel. Twain is also referred to as the father of American literature. Number 14. Hermann Hesse. Hesse is famous for his novels Demi and Steppenwolf, Sitahara, and The Glass Bead Game. He won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1946 along with 8 other awards, and his books has sold over 100 million copies. Number 13. Saul Bellow. Bellow is a Canadian author that won a Pulitzer Prize for his book Humboldt's Gift. He is also the only author in history to ever win 3 National Book Awards in fiction. Number 12. Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Marquez is the first author from Colombia to ever win a Nobel Prize in Literature, and only the 4th person of Latin descent to win one. Most famous novel is 100 Years of Solitude. Number 11. Ernest Hemingway. Hemingway won the Nobel Prize in Literature for his novel, The Old Man and the Sea. Hemingway was inducted into the Hall of Fame, and today an award with his name is given to commend literary achievement. Today his home in Key West is still a popular tourist destination. On to the top 10, starting with number 10, Jane Austen. Jane Austen received fame posthumously. Since she has died, her books have rarely been out of print. She was so famous that they even put her on the €10 mark. Number 9. C.S. Lewis. Lewis's novels, The Chronicles of Narnia, have been translated into over 40 languages and have sold over 100 million copies. Number 8. Miguel de Cervantes. Cervantes was a Spanish writer, widely regarded as the best writer in the Spanish language. His novel, Don Quixote, is considered the first modern novel and considered one of the most influential writers of all time. Number 7. J.R.R. Tolkien. Tolkien was an English writer who sold over 200 million copies of his Lord of the Rings novels, which also inspired the Hollywood blockbuster movies. He re-inspired a whole genre of writing and became known as the father of high fantasy. Number 6. John Steinbeck. Steinbeck was an American novelist who won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1962. He wrote 33 books, including his Pulitzer Prize-winning Grapes of Wrath, which sold over 14 million copies in the first 75 years of print. Number 5. William Faulkner. Faulkner won a Nobel Prize in Literature and is one of the most celebrated American authors. He is considered the greatest author of Southern literature. He is one of 4 authors in history to win the Pulitzer Prize twice for his novels A Fable and The Reivers. Awards have been made in his name to commend literary achievement, and he's won the National Book Award twice.
Number 4. William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare is widely regarded as the best author in the English language. He has sold over 2 billion books since they have been written. His most famous works include Hamlet and Romeo and Juliet. He has changed literature forever and influenced many other authors, including many of which that made it onto this list.
Number 3. Leo Tolstoy. Tolstoy is a Russian author who has sold over 400 million copies of his books. He was nominated for a Nobel Prize 8 times. His most famous books are War and Peace and Anna Karenina. He's influenced countless other authors and people throughout history, including Gandhi. Number 2. Charles Dickens. Dickens was an English writer considered best novelist of the Victorian era. Critics and scholars recognize him as a literary genius. He has inspired over 200 movies and TV specials. He was the most popular writer of his time and remains one of the best known and most read English authors. He also inspired most other authors, including many of which has made it onto this list. Today, there are statues and museums in his honor. Number 1. Fyodor Dostoevsky. Dostoevsky was a Russian author most famous for his novels Crime and Punishment, The Idiot, Demons, and The Brothers Karamazov. He is widely regarded as one of the greatest novelists in all of world literature. His many works are considered highly influential masterpieces and have been transcribed into 170 languages and inspired many films to be made about them. He's influenced countless people over the ages. Some of the most impressive names of people that he has influenced include Leo Tolstoy, Albert Einstein, Sigmund Freud, Friedrich Nietzsche, Hermann Hesse, Ernest Hemingway, James Joyce, and Virginia Woolf. Some of the other honors that he has received include being put on a stamp and museums. He has appeared as a character in other novels, and his life was made into an award-winning TV series. There are numerous memorials in his honor in various cities all across Russia.
So what did you guys think? Who did I miss? Who do you think should have been higher? And what did you agree with? Comment and let me know what you think. For those of you who stuck around to the end, here is some bonus authors which almost made it onto the list.